Good afternoon, everyone, to the second day of Eurasian Conference on Science, Engineering, and Technological Innovations, organized by Professor Natalia Markun, Head Automation, Computer Science and Technology Department, Kryvyi National University, Ukraine, and Dr. C.M. Patel, Chairperson of Research Culture Society. This two-day international conference is organized by a number of organizing institutions. There are Kryvyi National University, which is one of the largest education institutions of the central region of Ukraine for qualified personal training in metallurgical, mining, engineering, and technological specializations. Scientific subjects performed by this university aim to increasing the efficiency of production and control processes, power saving, and environmental protection. The Automation, Computer Science and Technology Department, which trains specialists in computer science, automation, and computer integrated technologies. The main educational and scientific areas are information, supported by decision making, development and implementation of process automation and mechatronics systems. The third organization is Research Culture Society, which is government registered scientific research organization. And this society is working for the research community at national and international level to impart quality and non-profitable services. And the fourth organization is Scientific Research Association, which is working on to promote scientific study research at international level and also coordinate with other research organizations for educational research events. The objective for this international conference is to promote scientific and educational activities towards the advancement of common citizens' life by improving the theory and practice of various disciplines of science and engineering. The aim of the conference is to promote and provide an interaction stage for researchers and practitioners from academia and industries to deal with state of the art advancement in their respective fields. The co-sponsors of this conference are Institute of Science and Technology, Eurasian University, and Scientific Research Association. Welcome to all. Let's begin the keynote session 2. The organizers are Dr. C.M. Patel and Professor Dr. Natalia Markun. The moderators of this session will be myself, Ganga Marshall, and Shobna Singh. The speakers of today's session are Professor Dr. Amit Parikh, Principal, Meshan Urban Institute of Science, Ganpat University, Gujarat, India. Dr. Shahzad Ashraf, Assistant Professor, College of Internet of Things Engineering, Hohai University, Shangzhou, China. And the third speaker is Professor Natalie Tron, Professor at Automation, Computer Science and Technology Department, Kryvyi National University, Ukraine, Europe. Let me first invite our first speaker, that is Amit Parikh. Professor Dr. Professor Dr. Amit Parikh is working as principal and professor at Mehsana Urban Institute of Sciences, Ganpati University, Kerala. He is a life member of ISTE, STAM, GAMS, FATER, and GGM. He is executive committee member of Gujarat Ganit Mandal. He has published 40 research papers in national and international journals. He has presented 13 research papers and delivered more than 15 expert talks at national and international level. He has authored 2 books titled Introduction to Fluid Flow Through Porous Media and Solution of One-Dimensional Groundwater Flow Problems, published in Lambert Publishing House. He is having more than 22 years of teaching experience at UG and PG levels at CU Shah University, Budwan, Nirma University in Ahmedabad, and Ganpat University in Kherwa. He has guided 5 PhD students and 6 students are pursuing PhD under him. Professor Parikh received awards at state and national level in Srinivas Ramanujan mathematics competition for engineering college teachers in the year 2012 and 13. And he has received certificates of appreciation from International Forum for Excellence in Higher Education for successfully conducting National Creativity Aptitude Test consecutively for 3 years in 2015, 16, and 17. And Dr. Parikh has worked as an editor for Souvenir of 53rd years of 53rd Gujarat Ganit Mandal Adhivation, that is Smarika, organized by Meshan Urban Institute of Sciences during 23rd and 25th of December 2016. And he has received National Level Award for Excellence in Education. And also he has been awarded as the Educational Leadership Award for 2026 School Affairs in Devang Mehta National Education Awards. Sir has been elected as an associate fellow by Gujarat Science Academy in January 2018. Sir has received Ganpat University President Award for Manager of the Year for 2019 and with a cash prize of 2 lakhs. And he has also received I-20R National Eminent Researcher Award 2020 from International Institute of Organized Research in November 2020. And Dr. Parikh received Outstanding Scientist Award in International Scientist Awards on Engineering. We invite you, Professor Dr. Amit Parikh.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Ms. Ganga, for my introduction. And I would like to thank the organizers, particularly Dr. C.M. Patel and Professor Natalia for inviting me to deliver a keynote address today in this conference. So I would like to share my screen. Today, my topic of presentation is I'm going to speak on the role of mathematics in COVID-19 pandemic. As this is a conference on engineering and science, and today most of the participants are from various backgrounds. So I have prepared a presentation on general topic that everybody will be able to understand. The topic is the role of mathematics in COVID-19 pandemic. I'm not going to speak much about mathematics in this talk, but will highlight how mathematics is used during this pandemic situation and how mathematics is useful in taking certain important decisions. So this is my outline of presentation. I will talk about the COVID-19, particularly what are the problems and challenges faced during the initial stage of COVID-19, how mathematics help us battle this spread of infectious disease. We'll talk about mathematical modeling approach. I'll discuss some basic mathematical models, SIER, SEIR, SEQIR. And I'll discuss about how does an epidemic ends with the help of reproduction number, growth rate, case fatality rate, and herd immunity. If you talk about the initial phase of COVID-19, the first case of coronavirus was reported in Wuhan city of China in December 2019. And quickly it spreaded to 24 countries in 4 continents around the world in less than 2 months as of February 10. So you can see in initial stage, within 2 months, it spreaded very fast. And during this period, how the experts and the policy makers took these challenges, then how they have implemented certain decisions. So I was wondered that how experts gain insight that lead to timely decisions, how they arrive at estimates of number of people who might have get infected. How do experts visualize the progress of infection and its capacity to give orders? Based on what conclusions are lockdown directives issued? And how can experts predict how long an epidemic will last? So all these questions answers are lies in mathematics, because mathematics played very important role in answering all these questions. Mathematical functions can be applied as tools to describe the dynamics of how infectious disease propagate among people. Mathematical modeling generates a picture or a model of dynamics of the disease, which can be visually represented by graphs, charts, and comparative tables. Models provide valuable inputs to visualize how disease affect people. Hence, epidemiologists, public health experts use them extensively to assess risk or to analyze intervention strategies to control or prevent disease. Insights available from models facilitate disease management protocols like mass vaccination drives, treatment patterns, and precautionary procedures. Mathematics has been in spotlight during the last few months as the COVID-19 pandemic has spreaded across the world with devastating consequences. Open up new website and you will be presented with graphs and charts like never before. Exponential growth is becoming famous as cases double, and a single career can lead to huge chain of infections. The rapid growth of COVID-19 has forced scientists to develop urgent countermeasures to halt the outbreak. Scientists have proposed and implemented various technologies to reduce the negative consequences of the pandemic and to accelerate the recovery phase. These technologies include artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, cloud-based collaboration tools, fog computing, the Internet of Things, cognitive computing, and wireless communication. There is a great potential for these technologies to bring out a revolution in healthcare industry. And all these techniques used mathematics to develop a certain informative website and informative some of the see, if you look at the WHO website, I would like to show mm, just a minute, dashboard available on the website, and that you can see that a lot of information is available. If you click on the map on particular country, you can see the current situation of that particular country. In India, we can see this many confirmed cases along with the number of deaths. So you can see get the information of any place, right? And if you further go through the website, this dashboard, you can see what is the global situation today. As of today, in this during COVID situation, this many confirmed cases identified, this many deaths identified. And if you look at the graph and if you put a cursor anywhere on the chart, you can get the information of that particular date along with the confirmed cases, weekly increase or weekly change, everything. So we can get such information from very beginning to till date. Even we can get the situation of country wise. So this is the live dashboard is created with the help of various technologies, and all these technologies used mathematics. Ultimately, it needs data analysis of very large database, and in this particular study, mathematics play a very important role. So let me come back to the our presentation. So this is just, I wanted to show how the technologies are used in creating such dashboards, and we can get the information, latest information of any particular region. And when UK government decided drastically increase isolation measures, it was in response to research by scientists at Imperial College London, headed up by the Professor Neil Ferguson. He was a mathematician, and their mathematical modeling work warned that UK would suffer more than 5 lakh deaths if stronger action wasn't taken, leading to the government decision to effectively shut down Britain, closing schools, restaurants, cafes, non-essential shops. So Britain has been locked down on the basis of mathematical advice, and they could save a number of lives and preventing the National Health Service from being overwhelmed. So lots of comparisons are being made between current crisis and the Second World War. It is interesting to note that mathematics has played a very big role in both situations. In World War II, codebreakers led by mathematician Alan Turing helped shorten the war by around 2 years. And now mathematics has been used to determine when the lockdown measures can be lifted. The role which mathematics played in COVID crisis, I have highlighted some of the points where mathematics used in this COVID situation, highlighting how important mathematical modeling is useful to government decisions. Using mathematics, engineers have started working on technology to design various medical equipment to help the COVID-19 outbreak. With basic mathematical models, researchers began to forecast the progression of disease in the analysis of COVID data on day-to-day basis, preparation of various apps related to COVID. Nurses and doctors use mathematics in calculating medicine dose. Mathematics is helping in every area of the crisis, and insights gained from such approaches can be used to inform policy decisions related to novel diseases such as COVID-19. Mathematical modeling is a valuable tool to control disease spread effectively. With basic mathematical models, researchers can begin to forecast the progression of disease and understand the effect of interventions on disease spread. Several mathematical models have already been formulated in various countries to analyze the complex transmission pattern of the COVID-19 pandemic using ordinary differential equations, delayed differential equations, stochastic differential equations, and fractional order capital derivative. SIER model is one of the best models. It is a simple but effective explanatory model for the prediction of the future development of infection and for checking the effectiveness of containment and lockdown. I have discussed here some of the basic models. They are SIER model, SEIR model, SEQIR model. These are some models which are used to help predict the trend of COVID-19. Here, S stands for susceptible, I stands for infectious, R stands for recovered, E stands for exposed, and Q stands for quarantine. And we can generate more models by adding more parameters in that. So if we talk about this basic SIR model, the total population is divided into three categories: susceptible, infectious, and recovered. So this is nothing but a compartmental model where the susceptible individual enters into infectious, and as soon as they get entered into infectious, susceptible are decreased and infectious people are increased. And then infectious people are shifted to recovered. At the same time, recovered cases will be increased, and at the same time, infectious class of people will be decreased. So based on this compartmental model, if we convert into mathematical form, we will get the system of differential equations. Here we have considered beta as a rate of infection and gamma as a rate of recovery. So we are getting this system of differential equation which can be solved, and we can get the numerical values as well as graphical presentation, and we can analyze the situation. So here we have studied this model from January 30 up to April 2020, January to April in 2020. So on 30th January, we have considered the data, and the total population of India is considered as 135.26 crore. And on January 13, whatever the number of susceptible, number of infectious, and number of recovered data was available that we have considered as initial condition. And based on that, we have studied this model. We have get the mathematical solution of that. And if we look at the solution graphically, we can observe that after 60 days, susceptible class start decreasing up to 120. So during this phase, if you look at the infected class, as soon as susceptible decreases, infected class of people increases. And as infected class decreases, at the same time, recovered class increases. So this is the model studied. It's a very simple basic model we have studied to get the idea how our mathematical model works. And further, if we add more parameters, then we can get more information related to COVID-19. Yeah, so this is SEIR, where one more parameter is added into this, that is exposed category. So for many important infections, there is significant latency period during which individuals have been infected but are not yet infectious. So those class of people we will consider as exposed. So they are in the compartment E. So here we have 4 compartments. So when we convert it into mathematical form, we will get 4 ordinary differential equations. These are first order nonlinear differential equations. And by solving these equations, we can get the mathematical solution, which gives us the data related to susceptible, exposed, infectious, and recovered. If we add one more parameter into this as a current time, because once the susceptible class get exposed, and if we consider a current time period to them, so some of the class of people can directly, without infection, entering into infectious, they can get recovered. And this way we can reduce the number of infectious people. So by SEQIR model, so this is more advanced model, and we have also considered natural death rate also. So if we convert it into differential equation, we will get this kind of system of 5 ordinary nonlinear differential equations, and one can get the mathematical solution. So this is, I'm just giving you basic idea of mathematical model, how the models can be improved and how it help us in getting more information and how the behavior of COVID-19 pandemic. See, so the susceptible, quarantine, as well as infected individuals recover from the disease at the rate. So these are the rate we have considered, sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 in generating the differential equations. So we are not going into deep, but the model suggests us the effect of quarantine on decreasing the infection rate, which can be observed. And to get the control over COVID-19, there are some parameters which are very important. That is, one of the parameters is reproduction number R, where we are considering beta is a rate of infection and gamma is a rate of recovery. Here, rate of recovery is fixed. We have taken as 1/14 because 14 days quarantine is considered, and that is fixed. So it is understood that after 14 days quarantine, one can get recovered by this infection. So reproduction number is defined as beta upon gamma. Okay, so rate of infection is depending on rate of reproduction number. And it is a statistical measure of how many people are getting infected by one person. If we consider R equal to 2, that means one person can infect 2 persons. And then those 2 persons can infect another 2 persons, means total 4 persons. So if we look at the chain of infection, it will be behave like this. So one infect goes to 2 infected, then it continuously means moving to 4, and then 4 to 8, and so on. So at every stage, it is increased by power of 2. So if we repeat this 30 times, it is going to be 1 billion people. So one person can affect 1 billion people by considering R is equal to 2. So to get the control over this disease, we need to have control on R. So our aim of the study is how to reduce R. Okay, so how does an epidemic end? For that, if R is less than 1, We can say that when R is less than 1 means what? If we consider R is beta by gamma, R is less than 1 means beta is less than gamma. Beta is less than gamma means rate of infection is less than rate of recovery. So when the rate of infection is less than rate of recovery, then we can say that the disease will be declined and eventually die out. When R is equal to 1, then that will be beta equal to gamma. So rate of infection will be equal to rate of recovery. That means there won't be any outbreak or an epidemic, right? So disease will stay alive and will be stable. And when R is more than 1, means what will happen? Rate of infection will be more than rate of recovery. In that case, the disease will be transmitted between people and there may be an outbreak or epidemic. So if we get the control over R, we can get the control over the disease. So our aim is to bring R less than 1. And what measures can be taken to get the value of R less than 1? There is another parameter, that is growth rate. Growth rate is defined as gamma minus beta, means rate of recovery minus rate of infection. And for that, if we consider this growth rate lambda greater than 0, means rate of recovery is more than rate of infection, then there is no cases increasing. Means very soon this disease is going to die and we will get the control over the disease. When lambda equal to 0 means rate of recovery will be equal to rate of infections, means the cases are going to remain same. And when the lambda is less than 0, means rate of recovery is less than rate of infection, then the cases are going to be increase. Okay, so growth rate reflects how quickly the number of infections are changing day by day, and it is an approximation of the percentage of change in the number of infections each day. A case fatality rate. Although crucial for disease control, R does not tell us how serious a disease is for an infected individual. The proportion of infected people who ultimately die from the disease is known as the case fatality rate. So we will define case fatality rate as the infected people who are going to die. And for COVID-19, this case fatality rate appeared to be, it is not fixed. It is varying significantly with the age of the patient. Because with the elderly people, it is worstly affected, right? So the case fatality rate is more in case of elderly infected people. Controlling an outbreak, one of the most effective options for reducing the disease spread is vaccination. So if the vaccination is increased, we can get the control over the disease by taking people directly from the susceptible to removed. So if we wish that susceptible class of people will not enter into the compartment of infectious, but directly they will get recovered, for that vaccination is important. So that will bypass the infective class and will get recovered directly through the vaccination. So once outbreak will be like current COVID-19 pandemic are in full swing, it's often impractical to develop and test a vaccine in a useful time frame. This is what we have observed, because initially when the cases were increasing, we were not having a vaccination. And due to that, we have observed the pandemic situation, how it worstly affected. So quarantine and isolation were the effective measures during that time to reduce the transmission rate and to break the chain. And then another parameter is herd immunity. Large population of immune individuals can slow or even halt the spread of disease, achieved by reducing the reproduction number. Of course, if we can get the control over reproduction number R, there will be a control over the disease, and the chain of transmission can be break, and the disease stopped in these tracks. And if a vaccination is available, then the herd immunity can be achieved by vaccinating a sufficiently high proportion of the population. So herd immunity can be increased by offering more vaccination. This is the proposed model where we are using more parameters. We have already observed SEIR and SEQIR model, but here we are adding 3 more parameters, that A means available therapeutic measures we have added here. H is a hospitalization and the treatment which the patients are getting by hospitalization, and V for vaccination. So this is a model where a lot of parameters are included, and one can get the system of differential equations. Of course, this is going to be a very complicated model, which one can study and get more information related to COVID-19 pandemic. If we look at the latest data, as per the WHO website, as on 18th November, there have been 25 crore 48 lakh 47,065 confirmed cases of COVID-19. And that includes the death as 51 lakh 20,712, which are reported in, as per WHO. And as of 17th November, a total this many vaccination doses have been administered. So this data is available on WHO website, and it is updated on day-to-day basis. So this is just a screenshot of the WHO website, which we have already observed on WHO website. And the conclusion is mathematical modeling is very useful to predict and control the COVID-19 pandemic that has been observed. The trends have helped many countries in deciding the period of lockdown to control the disease. The trend indicating that vaccination reduces the cases of infection that can be reduced. These are the references. Of course, this is the research work done by the experts during these last 2 years, and a lot of research is going on in the on this area of COVID-19 with the help of mathematics. So let us fight together to defeat this COVID-19. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Your presentation on role of mathematics in COVID-19 situation was very informative and interesting. It was a very captivating presentation. Thank you, sir. And we would be glad if you can join us for the further collaborations. Um,
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Yashraj. He's the assistant professor of the College of Internet of Things Engineering in Huai University, Shenzhen, China. Sir, you can begin your presentation now.
Okay. All organizers and the worthy editors who have arranged this wonderful event to share the ideas and to share the research phenomena going on in the current backgrounds. So I will talk about, as you see, we all are from the different backgrounds. So basically, my background is related with the computer engineering and the wireless communication. And I have some my hobbies regarding the image enhancement techniques. So from the last 2 months, I was working along with my team. Especially, we are facing some problems during the murky or the foggy seasons. That sometimes, whenever you travel on the highway, you see that you cannot directly view the images or the objects which are some sort of hidden by the foggy seasons. So even you turn on your fog lights, but at the same time, you may not be aware of the upcoming object, and if you cannot directly observe that object, it might happen, and it happens usually that unpleasant accidents may be there. So our team was working just to enhance the images that we get in a current session, in a current scenario, and how we can identify the objects which are not visible clearly. So we have designed an algorithm which is called the MS algorithm. Now this MS means the murky to spacious algorithm, which enhance the images, and it will only focus on the particular image that are not visible, especially the obstacle. For instance, likewise on a highway, if there are some sort of speed breakers, if there are some of the trenches, okay, and our driver cannot have aware of it, so our image, our algorithm will point these particular uh, areas, and every driver may have the awareness while traveling on that highway. So currently we are working on this algorithm, although this work is not completed, and this is the one part which I am going to present here. Okay, so my presentation basically consists of, first I will tell the background, which already I have, so to some extent I have explained, then the objective, then the method, results, and finally the conclusion. Recovering a clear image from the single hazy image has been widely investigated in the recent researchers. Okay, and due to the lack of the real hashed image datasets, these studies use the artificial synthesized dataset to retain the models. With the advent of the modern technology, this system is facing some of the challenges. Means while working on the previous study or the literature review, we have came across that there are some problems with the current studies, and that's why we were able to enhance the current study, to extend that current study by developing our new methodology. So getting the more accurate and the shrewd results, the murky to spacious algorithm based image enhancement study has been proposed through the discrete parameters. Now, what is the actual phenomena of our design algorithm? Okay, you see, okay, but first I will explain. I just explain the objective. What we will get. What are our actual contributions? It says identifying the targeted object more graciously. Definitely, if you are working, if you're traveling on the highway and you see on your right and left there are so many objects like trees and different buildings, and if someone abruptly comes on the road, how you will identify, because the environment is not clear. So it achieves the competition performance in the real world murky images. So this, our strategy will be a benchmark towards the new era where it will be possible to identify the road marking during the foggy seasons. Especially sometime it happens that while you're traveling on the highway, you cannot visualize the divider. Okay, and some vehicles may hit with the drivers dividers, and definitely there is a loss of the souls. So that's why it will revert the inevitable road accidents. So how our algorithm works? Okay, now I just explained in a detail from our methodology. Initially, the murky objects means the objects which are not easily identified will be focused and then converted into the grayscale to get the discrete values. Now, while getting these discrete values will be uh, matched with the pre-identified values. We have given a model of the pre-identified values, and if these 0 and 1s will be matched with the pre-identified, it means that it will enhance the original image. Now, when it will enhance the original image, it means now the murky image will be converted into the to some extent or to nearby the real image. When the real image, when the user will get the real image, it can easily identify that what object is that, and how far it is lying there. So the discrete value will be matched with the predefined values, and the best match case will be considered, and that on the basis of the final image will be extracted. So now this is a scenario that how it will be done. You see, first we have given and the area and the distance, and then it will goes on, and finally on going from the different stages, time one by one, it will convert from real image to, it will convert from the grayscale and the 0 and 1s, and after getting the 0 and 1 values, again it will match with a predefined value, and the predefined value will be if the predefined value will be matched, so it will give the final image. Now that final image will be our actual output, then, and that actual output will be used for to identify the image. Okay, now see here, these are our really real-time values. You see, this is the original image. While this is the first image, and in the same way, on the second scenario, this is also a original image. Now, I just focus on this one. You see, there are many objects. For instance, we will first apply our algorithm. Then, after getting after converting into the grayscale and the 0 and 1s, and when the 0 and 1 will be matched with a predefined value, so the our original image will be you can say the enhanced or the replaced by that value, and the final image will be there in this form. You see, in this image every object is very clear. Okay, but sometimes it happens, it depends on the foggy seasons, that some objects which are near to you, they may be very invisible, and some objects which are not near to you, they may be some sort of clear. Then our algorithm will again adjust the obtained value with the predefined value. It will generate the another image. Okay, then again it will generate the another image, and again it will generate it will extend that image. Now on the basis of these images, the user will be able to identify that what objects are there actual. Okay, then he or she can analyze that what is going on this image. You see, in the original image some carpets are available here, some flooring are here, but in the enhanced image, you see, they are available in a very clear form, while in the another image maybe a person have some sort of the eye-sightening issues, so maybe he cannot focus on this image, so from these other images he also have a clear view. Now focusing on the another image, you see, this was on the real image, uh, our algorithm will generate first this one, and apply, and it will apply some other techniques again, and again it will and generate this one, this one, this one. See, these all images are very much same, but have the some different values. Why does these values have been occurred? Because these values are occurred just because of that, uh, due to the available parameters of 0 and 1, when it will match with a predefined value, so it might happen that these values may be come up with the different scenarios. So this is what our whole algorithm will be worked on. So in conclusion, we propose a fully end-to-end technique for the image de-hazing, develop the murky to spacious algorithm to achieve the computation performance in the real-world fog image. So one can easily identify the murky object during the foggy environment while traveling on the highway, and can aware of the invisible obstacles. So this was all about, as I already told you, that this work is already in progress, and within a few days we will complete our work, and we will be able to present our work in the form of the manuscript. Thank you. If you have any question, you are free to ask.
So much, sir. That was a very impressive presentation. Thank you so much. And we would be glad if you will join for the further associations.
Yes, I'm ready.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, I would invite our third keynote speaker, that is Vitaly Tron.
Good morning to all. I have a little confusion because I have presented my report yesterday, so maybe anyone should replace me in some way, because I have reported yesterday instead of other professor which who had problems with his internet connection.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Pushpa H. From Ramaya College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Bangalore. I'm representing the microbiology department of MS Ramaya College. I'm highly thankful to the organizers of this particular conference for giving me an opportunity to talk about my research work. Today, I'm going to present on screening of pigment-producing microorganisms with a special reference to Epicoccum sorghum, a potential source for pigment production. So this is purely the microbiological work which I am going to present. And we all know that pigments are very much important, and these are the substances which are used to color various substances. So we know natural dyes can be obtained from various sources like plants, animals, microbes, and mineral compounds. We know that plants are the principal producers of pigments, which is found in fruits, vegetables, rhizome, flowers, etc. So those were the natural pigments which were used extensively. Later, in mid-19th century, because of the high demand of this particular pigments, it was Perkin in 1856 established the first industrial unit where he set up an industry for the production of the synthetic pigments. So now we have n number of companies which are producing such kind of synthetic pigments, where we have more than 700 colorants right now. And it is, according to the data available, it is China which is extensively using this kind of synthetic dye, followed by other Asian countries. Because of such extensive use of such pigments, synthetic pigments, there is large amount of industrial wastages, which is leading to the pollution and the biomagnification. And also we know that synthetic dyes have been extensively used in textile, pharmaceutical, food colorants. Even in cosmetics, it has been extensively used. Because of usage, there is large danger, especially with respect to the food dyes, which are leading to the cancer, allergies, hypersensitivity reactions, etc. So there is, because of this issue, there is a large demand of the natural dyes. By 2025, there will be a huge market for the process of the production of this natural dyes in US market. And I have listed out only few of the permitted colors which has been used in India. So because of this, there is a large demand of natural dyes, where there are certain microorganisms which can be extensively used for the process of the production of such natural dyes, where there is advantage of usage of this natural dyes from microorganism, where if it is a plant, as I had mentioned before, plants are the one which can be extensively has an ability of producing various natural colorants. 1 second, please. Microorganism has got advantage. If it is plants, they are seasonal. That is, their flowering time is different, rhizome production is different. We have to wait for season. Large amount of land is required. Large amount of labors are required for the process of the production of this natural dyes. Hence, microorganism has got advantage because we can cultivate them in vitro condition using fermenters. So that is the reason we can go for natural dyes using microorganism. Here I have listed out various microbial pigments from fungi. See, these are some of the fungi, especially penicillium species, monoascus species, which has been extensively used for the process of the pigment production. And these are some of the mushrooms examples which I have given over here, which can be exploited for the process of the pigment production, especially the polypores, Ganoderma species, Tramid species. Apart from their medicinal activity, they also has an ability of producing various pigments. Hence, this potential of these mushrooms as well as fungi can be exploited. This is also one of a fungi called as the bleeding tooth fungi, which is one of the mushroom which we can find in the coniferous forest, especially as a symbiotic relationship with the coniferous trees in the region, mountain region of North America, Europe, Iran. So this fungi has an ability of producing such kind of pigment. So this particular pigment has been extensively used in various medicinal uses, where it has been used as an anticoagulant. And also various bacteria also has an ability of producing pigments, where I have listed out over here. Yeah, this is one of the Petri art which I have wanted to show in order to show there are various microorganisms which has an ability or a potential of producing the pigment. This is one of the award-winning performance of Petri art from American Microbiological Society. So, and also these are some of the bacteria which has an ability, example, Serratia species, Chromium species, etc., has an ability of producing various bacterial pigment. And apart from bacteria, we have various algae also. One of an important algae called as Hemicoccus covalis, which has been extensively used in the process of production of astaxanthin. This has got high amount of medicinal property, especially has an anti-cancerous property. So with this background, we started with our objectives to screen some more microorganism which has an ability of producing the pigment. We wanted to standardize or optimize their growth parameters, and we wanted to mass produce them, extract the pigment, and see whether it has got any antibacterial, antioxidant activity, whether it has got. So with this background, we isolated few bacteria. These are some of the bacterial cultures of Micrococcus species which we have isolated, and few of the fungal species which we have isolated. And here I'm concentrating on one of the fungi called as Epicoccum sogenum. Epicoccum sogenum, this is one of the pure culture of the fungal isolate Epicoccum sogenum, which was identified using morphological as well as molecular characterization was done to identify this Epicoccum sogenum, and we optimized the process of the pigment production from this Epicoccum sogenum, where we could optimize at the temperature of around 25 degrees Celsius. The luxurious growth of this particular organism also happened, and also the pigment production was more at the temperature of 25, that is at room temperature. And at neutral pH, the production was more, and the sugar which it requires for the process of the production of high concentration of pigment was more when we are going to use maltose or fructose. And yeast extract was extensively was better source as a nitrogen source for the process of the pigment production by this particular organism. In order to see whether this particular organism upon mutation, whether the pigment production improves or not, we subjected this particular wild strain of this Epicoccum species under UV as well as certain chemical mutagen and high temperature. At that particular, after the process of mutation, there was no pigment production by this particular organism, and there was also certain morphological changes. So that indicates that the wild strain of Epicoccum species was better when compared to that of a other mutated strain. So keeping that in mind, the wild strain of Epicoccum species was mass produced using Sepex-Dox broth and using methanol. Methanol was the best solvent for the process of pigment separation. So here this is the culture of the Epicoccum species, the mass production, and this is the methanol extract of this particular Epicoccum culture filtrate. So, and also we subjected it for partial characterization, where we could see under GC, that is using gas chromatographic technique, we could see the two different compounds in that particular pigment, where we could see that 67% of tricycloheptane, trimethyl was formed. So keeping this in mind, we started with screening the antimicrobial activity of this particular pigment, which indicates by this particular assay that this particular pigment has got high antimicrobial activity, where they are found to be more active than that of gram-negative bacteria than that of gram-positive. So this was very good results for us. And also we thought for antioxidant activity. So where we could see using this DPPH assay was done, where this pigment has got a high antioxidant activity, where its IC50 value was around 20 micrograms per ml. This indicates that this particular pigment, apart from its antimicrobial activity, it has got a strong antioxidant activity also. And apart from these two assays, we subjected, or we tried to see whether this particular organism has got lower-statin activity or not. Lower-statin are certain substance which inhibit the process of cholesterol production in animals. So this lower-statin, we subjected the cultural filtrate to TSC, that is thin layer chromatography, which indicates that this particular organism, Epicoccum species, has an ability of producing lower-statin. So this concludes that this Epicoccum species, which is one of the fungi, which has got the ability of producing a pigment, which can be promising for the process of the production of this natural colorant, and it is a novel source of antimicrobial, antioxidant activity. Hence, this particular Epicoccum species can be exploited in food, textile, as well as the dyeing industries. And also, this particular study, what we have done is a stepping stone towards the enhancement of the commercial production of this particular pigment. I would like to thank the management of Gokula Education Foundation, Bangalore, for their support to carry out this particular research and permitting me to present our research finding. I am also thankful to the organizer of this conference giving me an opportunity to present this research work. Thank you.
I am assistant at Eurasian National University. Today I present a collective work called the Modernization of Teachers Professional Development System within the framework of Erasmus Plus CBH project Future Life. Yes. This work is devoted to the description of the existing system of teachers' professional development at the Eurasian National University, as well as to description of the project Erasmus Plus KA2 CBHE University Teacher Certification Centers, innovative approach to promotion teaching excellence and its expanded outcomes. One of the strategic tasks of Eurasian National University is regular training and increasing the competence of teachers, which is reflected in the development strategy of Eurasian National University for 2020-2025. Regulation on professional development of scientific and pedagogical works of Eurasian National University answer the following questions. What institutional policies, regulation, requirements, profile, coded determination, the future influence on the implementation of professional development at the university? Provides a definition of what is professional development at the university, obtaining the next degree of higher educational, professional, educational, scientific, educational, creative, scientific, including in another specialty, specialized, advanced training, internship, and or self-education, performance of new or more complex professional duties, which allows the research to maintain a proper or improve the level of professional qualification and last throughout the period of his professional activity. The organization of professional development of employers is carried out by the Educational and Methodological Department of the university. The trajectory of professional development and its substantive part is determined by the employer. The main components of professional development of research and teaching staff are training and internship. On the slide, you can see what the trainings have been recently held in 2018 and 2021. From 2021, Kryvyi National University takes part in an international grant project, Erasmus Plus KA2 CBHE into University Teacher Certification Centers, innovative approach to promotion teaching excellence. The project aims to modernization the higher education system in Ukraine by introducing university training centers to promote European educational innovations through professional certification of university teachers. Grant recipient Lviv National University 1.4 and other partners present on the slide for your reference. As part of the project works, package number 1 in the Kryvyi National University, as well as in all partners universities, questionnaire survey of teachers was carried out in order to define the futures and problems of the existing system of teachers' professional development. Key results and represent below. 109 people took part in the survey, which is 30% of the total number of teachers. In this slide, you can see information about the participants of the survey. The statistical selection allows us to conclude that this sample corresponds to all trends. Next slide and next questions. An average 60% of respondents indicated that the factors of career growth at KNU are achievements in teaching and research activities and the constant development of professional competence. Next slide and the next questions. Motivation aspect. The respondent, development and forms of development of teaching skills at KNU. The respondents' indication that the university most often uses such forms of professional development as international internship and internship in Ukraine, as well as training. The forms of improving teaching skills and are methodological seminars and feedback from colleges. The survey showed that the university does not have the practice of facing obligatory trainings for teachers. And the next slide and next questions is the motivation aspect of professional development of teachers. As can be seen from slide, the most intensive for teachers are the length of contract and the possibility of receiving bonuses. The university administration, on the other hand, takes into account the number of scientific publications as a key factor in the professional competence of a teacher. Though there is certain gap in the understanding of the level of the term professional skill by the staff and the management of the university. So next question, determination of the key needs of teachers in the aspect of improving and effectiveness of teaching. as the key needs of teachers in the aspect of improving the effectiveness of teaching, work with the student feedback, teaching methods, and subject area development and updating of work programs, we identified it. This confirms the fact that the university teaching excellence is associated with knowledge in the research field. So the modernization of the teachers training system is possible through the creative of certification centers at the Kryvyi Rih National University. As part of the activities of the center, trainings of teaching skills will be organized, the passage of which will improve the skills of teachers. And project utilize expanded outcomes. First is modernize the existing system of professional development and certification teachers of university in Ukraine by creating 9 independent center teacher excellence with their subsequent networking that will improve the quality of teaching in university. Creating center teachers excellence will allow university teachers to get at an alternative higher quality and affordable possibility of advanced training and certification with expansion of offers choosing the place of its passage. Second, introduce professional certification programs for university teachers based on European best practices and educational innovation to ensure perfect of teaching. All certificated teachers will be included to a specially designed database. Third, develop and pilot a new teaching excellence program, including description of training courses and more that anticipate needs academic environment of Ukraine and will improve the quality of certification university teachers. Improve the system of pedagogical skills development. Fourth, introduce new certification processes that will encourage teachers to personal and professional growth. So it's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, ma'am. The presentation on modernization of teaching professionals was very informative. Thank you very much. Keynote speakers. Thank you all the participants and keynote speakers for joining today's session and making this a success. Thank you, Professor Amit Tariq, for your presentation. I also thank Professor Dr. Shahzad Ashraf for joining us and the other presenters who have presented in this session. Thank you all. Your feedback could be written in the feedback link, which is there on the screen. Kindly give your feedbacks and we'll be glad to read them. Please join the next session, which will be at 3 o'clock. We also ask you to join the fourth session as well. Thank you, everyone.